Welcome to what I'm sure is going to be a super awkward introduction video because I literally never know how to do these. I always look back after I record them and I'm like, I look super awkward and uncomfortable. Like, I don't know why I bothered. So I'm sure at this point I have given up and it is what it is. But I am ex-rider and this is hopefully the start of my Booktube channel. I know some of you all are coming over from my equine TikTok, so welcome. We finally get to have more fun over here and we can actually chat about book stuff instead of me just rambling in the stories and you all not being able to answer. So this has been something we've kind of talked about for a while. Obviously, with the TikTok ship potentially sinking, I'm hoping it's not. And I was already doing the social media stuff for the horses. I was like, you know what? Might as well. Like, what's one more social media thing at this point, right? Anyway, I literally never know what to do with these introduction videos. I hate talking about myself, and I just think that's part of why I'm like, I'd just rather talk about subjects and not myself. But I guess a bit of a reading background. I was always a very avid reader as a kid. Loved it. It was pretty much my entire personality. Horses and books were my entire personality. So I was definitely the weird kid for ages. And then it was right after I dropped out of college, I think. I read a book that so many people had recommended to me. They're like, you're gonna love it. It's amazing. It's the next big thing. I read it and I hated it. And I don't know what it was specifically about that book. I legitimately did not pick up another book for years after that book. To this day, I cannot remember even what it was about. Well, I kind of remember a little bit of what it was about, but I do not remember the title. I don't remember the author. I don't remember nothing. I just remembered hating it so much. And I was just like, I can't believe this was so highly recommended to me. And so I took a break. And then obviously with TikTok, Book Talk is something that constantly kind of just suggests potential things you would love. And freaking Book Talk convinced me to pick up another book because it was so highly recommended and everyone loved it. And I was like, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. And I hated it. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I felt like this slap in the face all over again. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I freaking want to read again, but I don't, if this is what the best everyone has to offer, I'm like, I'm not doing it again. I took the risk and took another suggestion that freaking Book Talk gave me, and I fell in love with reading all over again. And so I went from, I haven't read a single freaking book in years to, I think as of right now, I'm at 55, which isn't bad considering I started in April, but I definitely feel like this year was definitely kind of just the year of getting back into the groove, figuring out what I liked again, kind of just a good stepping stone into hopefully being minorly obsessed all over again. As for kind of what I read, I felt like this year I read a lot of fantasy just because that seems to be like what was suggested. And I do enjoy fantasy. I do enjoy fantasy. I really like it. It's one of my favorites. Historical fiction is probably definitely my favorite. Ideally, in Happily Ever After land, I would like next year to expand a little bit more and read more stuff outside of fantasy and historical fiction. But yeah, there's definitely quite a few. I'm already kind of like loosely looking. I don't really have like an official TBR. I kind of just wing it because I typically use the Libby app, and obviously where it hooks up to your library, sometimes you're kind of stuck waiting 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks until you get what you've been wanting for a while. But yeah, so I'm hoping to expand a little bit and just kind of listen, everything we do here is just being wung. We're guessing, we're making it up, we're going it up as we're going along. Anyway, just kind of what I guess to expect on this page. I plan on doing 2 different types of book reviews. I plan on doing a spoiler-free version for those of you who are just looking, or for anyone in particular who's just curious on whether or not they would be interested in a particular book. Basically, what I would do is be like, this is the book, this is kind of what it's about, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, this is my star rating, and would I recommend it or no, more specifically, who I think would enjoy this book, right? Like, I'm not just, obviously reading is subjective, and we all have different types of books we like and books we don't like. So, and I understand that. So I'm like, if you liked this type of book or this book before, kind of is that vibe. As for my spoiler versions, it's basically going to be a live react, a live read. Those are some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube because I love watching people in real time, like connect the dots and piece it together and start coming up with their theories, and then watching it all unfold and watching them have their little mental breakdown when things happen. I love it. It's my favorite thing, but I hate it when people will do that and they're trying so hard to be polite about not giving spoilers. I'm just like, no, I need you all to talk it through. I love it when you talk it through. It's just my favorite thing. Instead, so I'm doing basically, I will do a live react, and if it takes me 3 weeks to read a book, I'm not going to post like a weekly update. I will wait until the book is fully finished, okay? But the plan would be introduce the book, and then just throughout the time I'm reading, talk about favorite quotes. Basically a live annotation. Talk about favorite quotes, what I think is going to happen, how I think about characters at certain times, and things of that nature. For me, definitely, I do not love doing like physical annotations like in books. I like keeping them kind of clean, but I really do enjoy just talking and walking through it. And so I guess some of my spoiler reviews will definitely be kind of just in life annotations, I guess. And then obviously once I finish the book, I'll give it my star rating and whether or not I suggest it and things of that nature. Speaking of star ratings, because it's probably an important thing to kind of measure, everyone does their star ratings a little bit differently, I think, except for, like, I definitely feel like some people give 5 stars a little too casually. I'm kind of that person, unfortunately, but I don't know. My 1 stars are books that, like, I probably should have DNF'd. Okay, I do not DNF. Once I get to a point where I'm like, I hate this book, I don't ever want to read anything like this again, it becomes a hate read. I need to confirm that this book is gonna end as bad as I think it's going to. And I know for a lot of people, you're like, oh my god, it's so stupid. Like, if you don't like the book, close it. It's a hate read at that point. I gotta make sure I do hate this book. I do have to hate this book. So 1 star is a book I basically should have DNF'd, okay? Like, I should not have picked it up. There might be, like, one thing that I kind of enjoyed about the book, but, like, besides that, I hated it. A 2 star is essentially something where, like, I liked bits and pieces about it. I wish you would stop walking around and pick a dog bed to lay in. Thank you. The Dalmatian is being dramatic. But a 2 star is basically something where, like, I might have liked maybe a character. Like, I liked the characters, but I didn't like the writing style. I didn't like the plot. Like, it didn't flow well, but I did enjoy the characters. Or I loved the plot. The plot had a lot of potential, but it didn't pan out anyway to, like, make it good. Like, it had potential, but it floundered, and, like, the writing style wasn't good, and the characters weren't really fun or anything. So that's kind of like a 2 star for me. A 3 star is when I start giving recommendations. These are like, okay, I liked this book. It might not be my favorite, but it was enjoyable. Like, it was a fun little read. Or there was parts of it I liked, but, like, there was definitely parts where it's like, okay, it's cheesy, you know? Those are the books where, like, yeah, I either liked the plot or liked the characters, or I hated the plot, but it was well written and the characters made it enjoyable. So those are books kind of just plump in the middle. Like, they were not my favorites, but I may or may not have enjoyed them, even if it was kind of more like a trashy TV show type way, if that makes sense. 4 stars are, I absolutely recommend. I loved them. They were enjoyable. They were fun. And just, I enjoyed the majority of the book. There might have been a few tiny things that I knocked them on. But it's typically stuff that it's like, I know for a lot of other people, it was probably enough for them to look over. And, like, for a lot of people, those would be 5 stars. It just, for me, a 5 star is absolutely, like, top tier. Like, once I pick up a 5 star, I don't want to pick up another book for a while because I want to live in that world. Those are the 5 stars are when I start looking at fan art on Pinterest and Twitter, and I want to go open AO3, and I want to live in that world and consume nothing but that world for a while. Like, it almost puts me into a reading slump because it was so immaculate. I was like, I'm done. I found happiness. It's amazing in here. And then I start going and looking for more 5 stars. It's kind of what a 5 star is for me. I need to remember to breathe. Good Lord. Anyway, so I'm definitely planning on doing book reviews. I am also in the middle because obviously I took a hiatus from reading. And I moved quite a few times, and both me and my sister combined libraries. And not that you can see it. Hold on, field trip. Anyway, here she is. Obviously, me and my sister combined libraries. We've moved a couple times, and just, you know, I know that a lot of this stuff on my bookshelf is stuff that I heavily enjoyed when I was younger, right? Like, these are some of the classics. These are some books that I grew up with. And now, obviously, I'm a little bit older. My taste has kind of changed a little bit. Not as much as I was expecting, to be completely honest. But, like, I would say I probably read, like, 90% of what on this bookshelf, but it's been a while. And so I am actually in the process, I just started it earlier this year, of rereading every single book on this bookshelf, is to make the decision of, does it stay or does it go? Like, what is it? Right now, these are they need to find a new home. I have an extra copy of this one. I don't know why. These were two that, like, I have book 4 and 6, but I don't have 1, 2, 3. So I don't know why I have 4 and 6, right? And this one was simply one that, like, listen, it's a big series. I already knew I outgrew it. I know I liked it as a kid, but I've outgrown it, and I really don't want to have it on my shelf. And so that's kind of my rehome pile as of right now. One Fourth Wing, who's currently on my desk. But then also, I have a few of these books that, like, I've decided, like, oh, they're absolute, I love them. They were some favorites of mine, but unfortunately, they need a little TLC. They might need to be replaced. So these might become a type of arts and craft project. Or if I have a book that also looks like this, and I hated it, arts and crafts project, but potentially need to replace some of these favorites. So yeah, I'm in the middle of doing all that, I guess. So that will be something to do. I think I've cataloged everything, and I think as of right now, there was like 206 that I have not read yet. And so because I'm in the process of doing all this, when it comes to, like, buying vlogs and things of that nature, I'm not buying anything that I haven't read, with one exception. So basically, anytime I buy new books, it has to be, I've already read the book from my library, and I had to enjoy it. Like, it was something I definitely want to reread again in the future. It's something I loved and would love to talk about in the future and just want to have on hand. And the one exception to the rule is if there's a book that my library doesn't have, there hasn't been any libraries near me that has it, and so that's when I start hunting to see. I was like, well, like, Sword of Kaigen is one, it's been on my list. None of the freaking libraries in my area have it, and so it's gonna be on my potential buy list here in the future because I want to freaking read it. It sounds amazing. So yeah, book buying vlogs, a lot of it's just gonna be finding random books that my libraries do not have, or just purchasing stuff I've already read and talked about, and I loved it and it was amazing. And so it's joining the bookshelf, and hopefully there's a few of these books on here that it will be leaving or becoming an arts and crafts project, so that I have space, because really this is not that bad. Like, I double shelf everything, but I definitely think I need to be getting a second bookshelf, just mainly because I kind of want these ones on a different shelf, and I honestly need more room for my plants. My plants are kind of taking over my life right now, and it's just been a thing. So might as well get a bookshelf, mainly for the plants and for the manga and the manhwa. Anyway, what else have we talked about? So we talked about my star system. We talked about my history, what I kind of enjoy. What else am I gonna, honestly, a lot of it's just gonna be book reviews. Again, buying vlogs are not really gonna be something I'm gonna be doing a lot of, just because I don't go out and purchase a ton of it all the time. And then like any bookish conversations, any just like casual, am I gonna do casual day in the life stuff? I might, probably. For the record, for those of you who are new and don't already know me, it's gonna be chaotic. There's nothing I ever do that is like regular, apparently. I just wing everything and it's always chaotic. So I will not have like a nice cute little constant book setup like this. Sometimes it will be in my truck or in the farm, or just it will just there will never be like a permanent background, because when is it ever permanent? Anyway, what else? I feel like I originally recorded this and I had everything like in a nice organized list, and then I looked back on it and it was just boring, and I was like, this is stupid. I feel like a monologue, but now I do kind of wish I had that list because I feel like I'm missing something. It's fine. We'll just wait. It is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I guess officially welcome to my new book stuff. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun. I will be doing monthly wrap-ups. Duh. That was the next thing. So I will be talking about my goal TBRs. Again, I use the Libby app, so it's never like an official thing. But I will be talking about potential TBRs of what I'm hoping to get read for the month, and then also kind of like a monthly wrap up of what I've read, what I enjoyed, just kind of things of that nature, just like a hangout vibe type thing. But obviously the end of December is almost here, but I kind of joined purposefully end of December, beginning of January, because I'm not going to do an end of December wrap up. I will be doing a end of year wrap up, so I will talk about everything that I've read throughout the year and just kind of vibes on that whole situation. And I'll also talk about any kind of 2025 goals and just my kind of loose leaf TBR for next year and what I'm excited to see, hopefully, because there's a few new books that I'm excited that are going to come out. And then I feel like I am playing a lot of catch up compared, because obviously where I took a couple years off, my vet texted me, obviously where I took a couple years off of reading, I definitely feel like I just am behind on what everybody enjoyed, and I just kind of feel pressured to kind of catch up a little bit, or at least just kind of figure out what I enjoyed again, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, like I was saying, welcome to what is about to be chaos. I'm sure I will never ever be on time for anything. I do currently also have a Bookstagram. I'm kind of playing with that a little bit. Sometimes Bookstagram, the vibes, I hate the basic aesthetic, just regular vibes over there sometimes. So I'm hoping to kind of just be a little more authentic and not fall into the trap, but I'm sure I'm going to fall into the trap eventually. I do also currently have a TikTok. Obviously, TikTok is potentially a sinking ship. We don't know. And then I also have this. And I also have a story graph. So all those stuff is in my link tree, which is in the section. Please remind me to leave you comments. Oh, thank you. Sorry, now my vet was distracting me, but I have the link down below and everything. So, now my ADHD is kicked in and I've lost my train of thought. It's fine. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up anyway. My vet is supposed to be here in 10 minutes to go do work stuff, and hopefully, come first week of January, you will be seeing a lot more of me. Fabulous. Awesome. Go drink some water and read a book because I need more coffee.